asked my husband to pinch me, like, it's not true. And he's like, it is true. I'm so excited for this journey, Miriam, because everything is happening so fast. You have to tell this to yourself every day that I am my ancestors' wildest dream.
Well, hello there, Passion Maker. This is Miriam Schulman, your curator of inspiration. We have quite an interesting guest for you today. She came from a large family in a small village in India. In her community, she says much of your future is already decided before you're conceived. Either you must become a doctor or an engineer. And coming from a Jewish family, I totally get that. I was expected to be a doctor, an engineer, a doctor's wife, or a disappointment. So our guest, as a young child, had a deep love for art, but yes, she did become an engineer. However, despite the challenges of a highly technical career, she sought out time to sketch wherever her work took her. And eventually she settled in Australia, where she started a family. The Australian wilderness and its unimaginable landscapes, tropical rainforests, and diversified wildlife inspired her to paint. She heard about the Artist Incubator Coaching Program on Mark Sublet's Medicine Man podcast, and she's been a star student for the last few months, taking huge strides in raising her prices, selling high-end commissions, signing with one of the largest galleries in Brisbane, and now finally coming full circle to sign with Sublet's Gallery in Tucson, Arizona. You're going to want to listen in to hear how she had such amazing success. Please welcome to the Inspiration Place, Priya Gore. Hello, Priya, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Miriam. I'm really grateful for this opportunity you have given me. And yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah, just to talk to you.
All right, let's back up now a little bit. Now, I know that your family wanted you to become an engineer. Yeah. How do they feel about you being an artist?
Actually, they wanted me to become a doctor. So,
okay, so you're already a disappointment anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
How much lower can you go? So then let's now talk about Australia. So one thing that I find really amazing about you, and this is part of your success, but one of the things that really makes you successful is you're very focused on a genre for your art and a style. Could you tell what that is?
Yeah, so growing up, I used to paint everything and anything I could see. But from last almost 2 to 3 years, I'm just stuck with birds. Like, I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm really not able to get over them. Like, they are constantly moving. They gather in numbers. They are flying. They are on top of the tree. There are so many compositions you can make out of that subject. And there are so many varieties of them. So it's just colors. Colors is something which we all are fascinated by. The birds and the colorful birds, and especially in Australia, it's just unbelievably beautiful. The kind of colors we have there. Some of my friends and family from India, they feel that it's photoshopped when I share the photo with them or something like that. They are like, no, such birds cannot exist. It's like, it's that beautiful. So I don't know, I'm just not able to get over them.
Birds are definitely popular. And there used to be an expression about 15 years ago in the licensing industry: if you want to make more money, put a bird on it. I don't know if that is still necessarily true, but what I do know to be true is having a niche and really understanding what that is and a focused style will make you more successful, because that is what's going to lead to repeat collectors, which you can talk about. Because somebody who wants a bird painting and then wants a second bird painting, they don't want to come back to you and find out now you're painting ice cream cones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you share a story about a repeat collector who came back for more bird paintings?
So before getting onto birds, I used to paint an animal and a bird in a painting. There was some concept, it was called Hello from the Other Side series. So there was an animal and a bird from different continents talking to each other. They may be helping each other, or they may be just giving some morals or emotional support to each other, something like that. The story was always there. So yeah, there was a repeat collector back in Melbourne who has bought like 9 paintings in that series. So almost all of them except one, who was grabbed by somebody else as soon as I uploaded. So it was really flattering. Actually, those was one of my first few paintings, like 10, 20 paintings, which I did. Those were from that collection. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing I was very interested in hearing about is you have had a lot of success selling through Blue Thumb. Now, Blue Thumb, is that only available for Australian?
Yeah, so it's it's
Tell
uh,
us
it's
about it.
available for worldwide collectors, but the artists, they have to be from Australia, so Australians. Yeah, so it's for Australian artists. Yeah.
But one thing I found very interesting is that you had shared with me that you had started out selling there, but didn't have a lot of success until you started investing in advertising.
Correct, correct. So Blue Thumb has this concept because they don't charge a lot of commission, right? So, to be frank, like they charge something around 30% and then they pay for the shipping. So it's like a really nice setup. It's very supportive for a new artist, who is just starting out. So what they have is, if you are if you want to invest more, you can do paid advertising with them. So they will just take like a really small portion from you and they will do a month long advertisement specially focused for that artist and the style and things like that, and they have the experts and marketing strategists who can put everything together. So once I started doing that, I found it was really like consistent sales one after the other, and my followers also through Blue Thumb increased all across the Australian continent, and also I got few international followers, like for example from US. One of the collectors initially was from US.
Okay, now tell us how that works when you sell a painting. You said they ship. So you find out, you get a notification, I
Yeah.
assume by email, yay, you've made a sale. Then what happens?
Actually, the fun part about Blue Thumb is like you wake up in the morning and you get a text message from them, congratulations, your artwork is sold, and then you click the link, you just go there and you put very few crisp details. So you pick up a carrier who you want, it can be your choice, or if that is not available, then Blue Thumb just assigns something, and then you pick up a day and time for collection. So you just take care of the packing. The courier company will come and pick it up. That's it.
Okay, so now what I know people are wondering, is it worth it? So Priya, would you mind breaking down for us like a sale that you made, how much it cost you for the shipping? And then would you break that down?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, of course, of course.
excellent.
So if a painting is of $5,000, right? Let's consider that. So what happens is, if I sell it directly, then it's a different game. But yeah, let's consider if I sell it through Blue Thumb or through Gallery or something like that, right? So if it's through Blue Thumb, then you deduct 30% commission out of it, right?
I know you and I like are doing it right now in our heads.
Yeah. So yeah.
And by the way, Priya is now selling her artworks for 7,000, 8,000. What's the most expensive painting you've sold so far?
So 8,000.
8,000.
8,000 was,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
we're gonna for this discussion, we're gonna pretend it's a $5,000 painting.
Yeah.
That's a $1,500 commission to
Correct.
Blue Thumb.
Yeah.
And then would you be able to quantify how much of that went to advertising? Are they advertising you per month or is it advertising per painting? How does that work?
No, advertising me per month. So it's
Got it.
about getting more followers. And with Blue Thumb, how it works is, if the followers you have is not like Instagram followers, they are hardcore collectors. So
Okay.
if you get even a follower, even one follower per day, it's a huge deal. So with that 3,500 they have left, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
consider maybe 500 they have for shipping, which is for local Australia shipping, because my paintings are big, really huge. And then you have your canvas cost and your paint cost.
Okay, so let's call that a $3,000 profit on the painting. And
Correct.
then just for a discussion, how many of these paintings would you be selling per month? And then what would be your advertising budget? So like again,
So see, like I can sell like 2 to 3 per month if I produce that much.
so
Yeah.
Priya's selling about 3 of these paintings a month, which is
Yeah.
$9,000,
Correct.
which is a 6-figure salary per year, because 9 times 12 is
Yeah.
$108,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she does have advertising budget
Correct. So
for
advertising, that's why I say advertising with Blue Thumb is extremely minimal. They will charge the artist the same, because if it is benefiting them, then they are going to invest a tiny bit as well. So the amount is $225 for 4 weeks of constant advertising, which
okay,
is nothing
that's
compared to.
amazing. Okay. So Priya has been selling paintings all over the world. One thing to understand is what she just said is she gambled on herself and invested in herself first. And once she made that investment and that gamble on herself and it paid off, then the company Blue Thumb, they want to make money. Companies want to make money. So they invested in her as well, which actually, by the way, is something we see all of these venues do. So if Etsy has a top seller, they will put that seller in their newsletter. They will talk about them on social media. That's something that happened with Lisa Congdon in her career, that, you know, she invested in herself, but when she had success, they invested in her because it made them look good. Lisa used to be on Etsy. I don't believe she's on Etsy anymore, but there's a lot of artists like that, that when you invest in yourself, other people will get behind you.
Absolutely. So last year, that's what I decided, because if I am having such a good run with Blue Thumb, what I decided is, why can't I just keep it going for the whole year, as a strategy? Like it's the best strategy one can have, and where everything is delegated. I don't have to supply them any material. Now, production has to be the focus for me. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, that's what we talk about with the passion to profit framework. Production is number one. Like if you're not producing 3 large paintings a month, you're not going to have a 6-figure salary. Absolutely. If you're not charging at least $5,000 for those 3 paintings pricing, you're not going to have a 6-figure salary. Now, Priya is now in the position that because her sales are keeping up with her production, she can continue to raise her prices. And that's why she's able to sell a painting for $8,000, is because the collectors see that they go very quickly.
Absolutely.
And when you're in that position, you can raise your prices. Okay, now we're going to talk about your gallery representation.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Sure. Yeah. So actually what happened is I applied for one of the TV shows, which was Australia based. Graham Stevenson is the founder and director of that TV show. He's a really popular, famous, like legendary artist we have had. He spent all his life in, promoting artists and marketing them and putting their names out there, and stories out there, like properly, like in a very systematic manner. So when I moved to Australia, I was a big follower of his show. I actually followed a few of the artists he had interviewed. I never thought one day I'll get an opportunity. I just applied to the show and then they accepted it. And then we went through the shoot and everything happened. What happened is the next shoot they had was with Red Hill Gallery. So I had some kind of connection through that show with the gallery. So the people who shot my show and their show, they spoke about my art with them, but still nothing happened. Then Miriam Schulman gave me an idea that I should be sending them a postcard again, right? So I sent them this postcard with my art on one side and just saying, hello, I'm an artist and I'm a local artist and things like, and I love the artists you represent, and that's it. I would like to stop by and say hi to you one day, and nothing else. So I sent the postcard, and the same day she receives the postcard, I get a call from the gallery manager that our director would love to speak to you. She's interested in your art and she's interested in representing you. And then when I went there, she talked really highly of the postcard again. And she said, it's the postcard which hit me, the painting, I just loved it. And and we had the initial discussion, all the formalities, and that's it. I was on board. She wanted 8 paintings right away from me.
So there's a couple of things I want people to hear. Obviously, Priya has amazing artwork. So none of the strategy would have worked if you didn't. So like kudos to you on that. But do you know how many people I tell to do things and they don't listen to me? Like whether they're just listeners on podcasts or people who I coach. And so kudos to you also for like listening to a good idea, because a lot of people, it's like a postcard. Like, shouldn't it be an email? Shouldn't it be a formal letter? Shouldn't I send them a package? I was like, no, you send them a postcard. Okay.
There are a range of different fortes which everybody have, and then you have to just keep shut and listen to that person. I really believe that you are knowledgeable at what you do and what you tell artists, and you are coming from a really right place, and you really want to help passionately, right? You want to share.
I really care. And I'm like, yesterday I said to my husband, the best thing happened. He said, what? I said, my client got another gallery. Like, to me, it's like, it's the biggest joy to help you have success.
And I can feel that energy, like I can feel that energy, that positivity from you, which I feel from my husband also, because he's very supportive, he's always that go-getter, and he pushes me a lot. And I can feel that from you, I can feel that from your mindset coach, who is unbelievable, Sean. She's really good, she has been helping me a lot. I think there is a personal connection with Sean for every artist on this on your in your university. So it's really amazing. So with the second experience, what happened is I was following Mark Sublet's podcast,
That's
Art Dealer
bad.
Diary. So I was listening to his podcast and he interviewed you. That's how I came to know about you. And it's just because you just told me that, Priya, don't expect anything, just send him again your postcard, don't rely on the email only thing, or just send a postcard and it will reach him, and just say hi, that I'm coming to you, I'm coming all the way from Australia to Tucson with my husband and a little toddler, and I am a big fan of your podcast and the artists you represent, and that's it. And there was nothing else to it. And when I was on Brisbane airport, taking my flight, checking in and taking my flight to LA, I received this email that Mark wants to interview you for podcast. And there was not much written in that email. And I was like, this is a spam and this cannot happen. And I asked my husband, to pinch me or slap me to, like, it's not true. And he's like, it is true. And I just couldn't believe throughout the flight. And when we landed, we went to his gallery. And then when I entered, oh my gosh, like I have goosebumps, like the artist he represents. I was like humbled to the core, and I was like, yeah, like I want to reach here someday, it's so beautiful. I had like a lot of doubts because things were happening really fast for me, like I couldn't believe that this
Your
was something
belief hadn't
happening.
caught up to what was really happening.
Absolutely. And when we sat, he set up his marketing guy set up the cameras, and he was sitting in front. And then I asked him frankly that I'm really nervous and I cannot believe, because yesterday I was listening to your podcast and within a day I get this email and I'm here. And why do you want to interview me? And then he gave me a really beautiful, that it synced with him, because even he was into medicine, and how he switched to art and curation and art dealing and things like that. He wants my art to be in his gallery before releasing the podcast, because he said that it will be the really nice timing, because he can say at the end of the podcast that I have this artist on board and her artwork is in my gallery, you guys can come and check it out, something like that.
So it's kind of what we said before. People, when you invest in yourself, people will invest in you, and they invest in you because they make money from it. So like, he wants to make money from it. So of course he's going to time it that way, because that's the best way for him to promote your art is through his
Absolutely.
podcast. Now there's a couple of things that I just want to kind of underline. So some of the work that we did together was really making sure your about page really featured your story in a way that's compelling to someone who's an art collector. And that is part of what Mark connected with.
Yes.
And the other thing he told me that he shared with you is that if you had sent an email, he probably wouldn't have given it the kind of attention that he did to a physical postcard.
Wow.
What else
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, actually, everything is really humbling, all the artists he represent. So when he saw the postcard, he, found it so beautiful that he shared it with his wife, who just loved it. And then they both went to my website one evening and checked it out. And they loved few of the pieces. One of the pieces they loved so much that he's like, next Hyacinth Macau painting you do, I want it at my home, and things like that. And I'm like, of course he is serious, of course he's not saying this for the sake of saying, he's Mark Sublet. So it was really, really flattering, and it gave me such a boost. I'm just filled with so much inspiration that I just want to go back and throw paint on the canvas and create something amazing now. It's just, I'm so excited for this journey, Miriam, because everything is happening so fast, but my core is my painting. I have to go and express my happiness, my excitement, everything. I have to just keep it together and put it on canvas. Like that's the way I want to communicate. Yeah.
All right. So I want everyone to check out your beautiful art, which they can find at Caribou Fine Art. Can you spell that for everyone, please?
Yeah, sure. It's Karibu. So it's Karibu. It means welcome in Swahili language of Maasai people in Africa. So it has inspired, it has come from my Africa visit of national parks and all the safari games we did. Yeah.
Okay, so I will make sure to link to Priya's website as well as all her social media places in our show notes, and we will also link with the interview that on Art Dealer Diaries that Mark did of me is out by then. We will make sure to link that one as well. I have a feeling this one's going to come out before his though, right?
Maybe because I have to go back paint and
send
send him the painting. Right. It's going to take few months, Miriam, for sure.
So it won't be there yet, but it's going to be amazing. Do you have any last words?
See, Miriam, I would like to say a big thank you to you, seriously, because actually, thank you to Mark as well. Because of Mark, I came to know about you, and because of you, the whole thing has changed. I think the most important thing has changed is the mindset. You should celebrate everything in life, any achievement, especially when you're a business person. Why you have to celebrate it? Because you have to tell this to yourself every day that I am my ancestors, wildest dream. They would have never thought that their grandchild is going to go somewhere and travel around the world and explore all of these things. And I think anything we are doing today in this world is worth celebrating. It's not about just making money, or it's not about, working hard or exhausting yourself. It's about expressing and then celebrating through that, whole process. Yeah.
Love that. All right. And don't forget, if you liked this episode and you want the same results as Priya, you have to check out the Artist Incubator Coaching Program. So you can go to schulmanart.com/biz, as in BIZ. All right, my friend, thank you so much for being with me here today. I'll see you the same time, same place next week. Stay inspired.